Is it weird that I watched the Barbie movie like twice? Not even once. I watched it twice, and now every time I want to wave at someone, I'm like, "Hi, Barbie," or I'm like, "Hi, Ken." I don't know why I have this like weird
Super
thing
weird.
that I just want to do that all the time. So I just looked at Rob, and he looks like Ken. So I was like,
shoot.
"Hi, Ken." No.
No,
Just me?
no.
And we have a Disney princess joining us today.
Disney princess, what?
Yeah, she has a Disney princess voice.
Yes.
Apparently. That's what everybody says. I don't know. I feel like I have a little bit of a Woodbridge accent, but
You think so?
a little.
Maybe like a little Disney with like a Woodbridge flair, but like definitely Disney princess.
I just remember being left out of the interview process
Yes.
and everyone telling me as they were going in, oh my God, we love her. And I'm like, then I'm going to go in because you guys, I did not do the first
Yeah.
round.
Did Jazz do the first round?
Jazz.
Jazz,
Just
yeah.
jazz.
Jazz did the first round. So which if you know what Jazz's life is like in here, to put that on her on top of everything else she was doing was probably overkill for her.
Yeah.
But she never says no to me. She's always like, okay. So I'm like, if you guys love her so much, I have to at least say something or do part of this interview.
Yeah.
So I just came in.
You
sort
totally
of
popped in at the end.
unannounced.
Yeah.
I'm like, why does everyone think you're such a big deal?
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
I don't know.
I'm like, yeah, everybody loves you. And so I'm Adam. I don't count here. And everyone just said I have to meet you, which had to be like, that has to be I think, I know it's unique, but I don't know what it's like to be on the other end of a rapid fire. I've done an interview before where I interviewed with 3 people, but
It's like at the same time, like kind of like a panel.
yeah, like they kind of took me around to the 2 different locations and I met those people, but not digitally one after another. What was that like?
Intense.
Yeah.
But honestly, it was great. I think it's just because everybody here is really nice. So it was just it was smooth. Conversation was great, I think.
Yeah.
Must have been.
Yeah.
You got here.
Well, we have an unspoken rule that we're not allowed to talk about an interview until everyone's gone in. And I think every single person that went into your interview violated that rule.
Yeah, blew
And I
it.
was like, I don't care. I like her. And then they're like, oh, what did you do? What? I haven't gone in yet. I'm like, oh, well,
know.
sold that.
And I was
I
like,
love
just
her.
happened to be standing somewhere and 2, you're like, oh my God. I'm like, you can't do that. That's not how we do it.
Yeah, literally. We
No,
broke all the rules for you.
Yeah. No, it was really great, to be honest. It was a unique experience because I never interviewed that way before.
Yeah.
But it was great to see the people who make up the office. It set the vibes for sure. Like I knew instantly that I wanted to work here just because everybody was just so great.
For us too, like let's call it fell in love. We're like, we need her. Like she needs to work on our team. So when we send out, or when Adam sends out the offer, it's like a ticking time bomb. It's like, are they going to answer?
Always goes to
Are they gonna
junk mail.
reply?
And then no one.
Yeah. And then it's like, oh my God, it still hasn't been signed yet. Have they acknowledged it? It like lights up green. We're like, yeah, she's on our team.
Yeah, because everybody can see it, right? Yeah, I know.
Going to signing, you're like, did Hailey really want to work here?
No, I feel like I signed that super fast. I was probably a little bit too eager, but I was just so excited. I was like,
Yeah.
I need to sign
No,
this
so
right
good.
away. Yeah.
You're in, I think, the most important and the toughest
Roll.
role, department
Yeah.
as a whole, because you're dealing with the post signing and the plan that has to be put into place.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your background, what you did before this, because I didn't get to interview you, on what skill sets you draw from in your history, your job history that makes that work for you.
Yeah, so I would say I have a lot of customer service experience just because I did work a lot of retail jobs. So I was constantly working with clients of different, natures because I worked different retail positions, but I feel comfortable speaking with people and making those connections just because I have so many years of doing that.
Yeah.
And also like schooling. My schooling helped a lot. I went initially for social service worker at George Brown, and that was great, working with, different types of peoples and looking, being able to connect with different types of people and have different conversations. I think everything that I've done job wise has led, I just know that customer service is something that I'm really great at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially even like with the education element of it and social services, there's a lot of like psychology behind it and working with, let's say, people who may have a set of challenges or whatnot. So having that background, which is a breath of fresh air when it comes to customer service, allows you that much more of an advantage to actually helping someone. So it's one thing like you are like a sensitive and caring person and you're empathetic, but then you also have the element or perspective of the education element where you're like, okay, how can I solve this? Like the problem solving skills, all of that, which you obviously out of high school knew that that was something that you wanted to do. And then, like you said, working all different types of retail jobs brings their own set of challenges and really, I guess, is a very colorful world of customer service. You have the really happy people, you have the not so happy people, you have the people that are just neutral and don't really need you or whatnot, but you're always there to help and you're on your toes constantly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And working with people face to face, as much as we've transitioned into that virtual role or being over the phone, you were handed challenges to your face in real time. How can you help?
Right.
Which
Had
is
to act on it immediately.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a great experience, but I'm loving it here also. Like I really love being able to, be there for our clients and really assist them in any way and just keep them on track with the beautiful plans that the agents, create together with them. And it feels nice being someone who they can speak to at any time, not even just in our, our 3 month, 6 month, 8 month check-ins, just being available to them because, times are super tough right now and it's scary out there. And, if you're not in the mortgage world, you don't really understand much, I would say. So having someone who is always available, I think is great and so different than other, mortgage brokerages. Like it's just not offered. Really.
And it's probably different to what you're used to too, because in customer service or in retail, you deal with an individual. If they're like a frequent buyer, frequent shopper in that particular area, you might see them more than once.
Right.
Whereas, or you might not at all. You might just see them once. So here it's like, your journey of customer service is so much more expansive. Like you said, they know that they can call you back and you know that you're involved, whereas it was kind of a one touch and go in your previous position. So what do you see? Like, do you find that this is more satisfying? What part of the process here do you like better than your, I guess, previous role in customer service? Or what do you see that's different?
I just think it's really rewarding to be able to follow like a client's process and journey through their plan and be, answer the questions that they may have and see the growth with, credit scores.
Yes.
And it's a lot more rewarding than, working a retail job at, a clothing store.
Yeah.
It just feels like I'm making more of a difference and really like having an effect on people's lives. And I think it's great.
Yeah. So what was that like monumental moment of like, I need to change what I'm doing. I want a difference. Like I want something different. I want to explore something different. What was that for you?
So out of my background, like I truly had no idea what I was doing. And that's just the honest truth. Like I jumped from schooling. Like I said, I did social service work and then I went into culinary and did a year of culinary because that was my passion. And it was just, and I stopped doing that and I didn't finish the program. And I just, for me, it took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do. And I tried a bunch of different things, but it was always customer, like
service oriented.
Always. Yeah. So when I did see the posting on Indeed, I got so excited because it was entry level. And I was like, this is great and I did a little bit of research on Nuborrow as a company and it was very education based. And I think I brought that up in my interview, like 17 times, how I was so excited that you guys are willing to teach because I am a great learner, but I really came in here not knowing anything about mortgages. And I guess the point, I just felt like I could make a career out of this.
So on that point of not knowing anything about mortgages, new industry, you go to a department that I think has no playbook. It's not that there isn't a process. It's not that Jasmine doesn't understand it backwards and forwards and does an amazing job of training and onboarding. All that stuff is there, but you pick up the phone every single time or reach out to a client every single time. That's a complete wild card. You have no idea what you're going to get.
Absolutely.
So the reason why I say it's so difficult is because you have to rely on the little bit of training that you're going to get when you first start making those calls. You have to be able to open up all the clients' files and know exactly what they did, and then handle a curveball question that if you're didn't do the deal, didn't originate the deal, didn't go through 2 hours of conversation to help them make that plan, how do you answer it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? That's the toughest part.
Yeah.
That's why I'm always like, yeah, you want a day off? Sure, take the day off.
No,
I know how stressful it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely stressful, but Jazz, everyone here is so willing to help and, answer any of the questions that I have ever, because I do always want to give the clients, the correct, lead them in the right way and not give them. And if that means that I have to get back to them, I will get back to them always. But the process of how you guys set up the files and, and all of the plans and everything, it does really make it sort of seamless for me because everything is there that I need to know. And also I think just asking clients, just being straightforward and say, hey, can you give me a little rundown of what's going on here? And because I really want to help, I want to assist you in any way. Just let me know what's happening. And then I will give you an answer.
Yeah. And I think it's the initiative of the client care agent and the renewal agents and all that to take that initiative to be as helpful as possible and build your own knowledge. Because like you said, there's no playbook to this game. So like
such a wild
it's basically like,
job.
oh, I learned at 10 o'clock this morning, this person had this issue. And like maybe in a month from now, that might be of value because someone might be experiencing the same issue. So you'll have these like light bulbs go off probably every other call where you're like, oh, I've dealt with this. Yes, I know what this is. Based on your own experience. It's not a conversation you had with Jazz or Kyra or anybody. It's literally a conversation that you had with another client and you've remembered and you've absorbed and you've translated onto another. And then that's the same skill we use on the front end of, hey, listen, I've been there. I understand. I can empathize with you. I get it. I've dealt with a client in a similar situation. So that in itself will give your clients that, okay, she knows what she's doing, even if you feel like you don't. And like you said, taking a step back and saying, hey, listen, that's a great question. I got to get back to you on it because I want to make sure it's absolutely correct and it's suitable to the plan that you're on and so on and so forth because everyone's so unique.
Oh, for sure.
Is this a weird place to work at?
Weird?
Yeah.
No. I would not describe it as weird.
Because sometimes when I do things or say things, you look at me sometimes like, is this guy all right?
Do I really? That's inner thoughts. But honestly, no. I don't think it's weird at all.
She thinks you're weird. She just doesn't
maybe
think
a little bit of that.
Weird.
Maybe a little bit of that.
So then what is it about, now that you've been here for a while and a lot of people come to me and say, oh my God, I love Hailey. And I don't hear from you that. So this is how I know you're doing a good job in the department. I don't hear from you.
Right.
The odd time you email me with a question, I see, I know you communicate with the agents, but in my history of that department, it's the person who doesn't get it or work or figure out what we're doing or is usually the person that talks. I see them having the most questions because they don't help anybody. They don't take the time to read, which I have noticed that you have really dove into that part of the job and understand what we do. But what is it about Nuborrow as a whole that makes you so excited to be part of it? Assuming that you are.
Oh, very excited. I love working here. And I think mostly it's because, so I've worked some crappy jobs with some crappy people, and I've never really felt a part of a team. And when I walked into here instantly, I felt like I was part of the team. And that's huge because, you go to work every day, you want to feel like you're a part of something, and everybody is super willing to help no matter what, even if they're having a bad day. Like I've never experienced someone say, I can't help you.
Right.
So that's why I really love, and I'm always learning, which is really great. It's never boring.
Yeah, the job definitely doesn't get stale at any point.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all.
Just on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being I don't care, 10 being I care a lot. How do you think I feel about when we get a negative review?
Oh, it's 10 plus.
Right?
You care about.
It matters to me.
Yeah.
So when we deal with a live grenade like a bad review, I'm like in your department right away talking
Yeah.
to Jazz, and we're trying to figure out how we can get a hold of them. You might have spoken to them, you might not have.
Yeah.
And that, I hope, demonstrates that we all care as a team about the client's
Yeah.
success.
Yeah. And I'm sure too, Hailey, like you've experienced calls where clients will say, I don't think anyone cares. I don't think anyone cares. And sometimes the little reassurance that our client care agents can hammer home, being like, we do care. That's why you have my personal number. That's why you can call me at any time. That's why I'm answering your call right now. That's why I'm taking an hour to talk to you out of the day to get that cleared up. Really just kind of blends that whole process together. Like your team is the glue to what we do from front end to back end, like the glue to the team. Being an OG client care agent, one of the first on the team, I can speak to how important it is. And that was on a much smaller scale. So to feel or to see the impact of how many people you actually touch now, like I remember a time in my distant memory where I was dealing with like 15 clients.
All right. Now it's
Like now it's
150
hundreds
a
and hundreds a month, where I was dealing with 15 and felt like I was like impacting this entire world and I was Superwoman. And I'm like, take a back seat. Like they talk to way more people and they are impacting everyone. And you'll have people being, thank you so much, Hailey. Or she'll be like, hey, yeah, I talked to you yesterday. Okay, let's review the same thing. So it just goes to show how skilled someone like you are on our team and how important you are, because I did it at, again, a much smaller magnitude and I thought I was impacting a lot. And I could only imagine taking on the role that you've taken on with such ambition and literally saying, I know nothing, and learning so much and not asking the amount of questions you would think someone would, because you can sit there and put pieces together and go through the client's file and understand and listen to them and not be afraid to ask them, walk me through what this year's look like for you.
Yeah.
What are you going through? And that's a skill that front end agents have. It's like it's truly is amazing. And I think
Thanks,
again, your like voice.
Well, we're gonna have to.
I love her voice. I just want it to be like my voice recording, because I hate listening to myself, but like I could listen to you all day.
Aw, thanks.
Yeah.
was
So
gonna
if
add-
I had a Disney princess answering, I'd be like, listen to all my problems and then help me, okay?
Is it stressful?
Can be.
Yeah. Do you have a stressful moment? Like, have you had a bad call yet in the department?
I wouldn't say a super, super bad one. I definitely had some clients, that do not want to speak with me, make that known, but it's never been something where I've been like, oh no, no. Yeah.
Because that's usually when we onboard somebody and we get them into that department. I probably said it to you. I say it a lot, right? The happiest place on earth is Disney. And they don't have a 5-star rating because they have actual real reviews. They have some people who are unnecessarily happy that the ice cream melted in the heat. That's going to happen. Mickey can't make everything magic. But there's just those things that pop up that it feels like you're always dealing, or you can always feel, it feels like you're always dealing with a problem. It can feel that way. But in reality, if you take a step back and look at the amount of business that we're doing, the ones that are the loudest are the ones that sometimes make the most impact, but they're the smallest portion of the pie.
Yeah.
So when you're on the phone and you're going through the good calls and you hit the bad call, what does that impact your day, or do you just try and keep pushing forward?
I think because I have so much experience with, customer service, customer care, in the beginning, it did affect me. Now I definitely take into consideration what the client's going through, and I'm empathetic to the situation and all of the things. But at the same time, like that phone call was made to help, and if it's not,
That's a good point. Yeah.
and if it wasn't received in a very nice, way, then have a great day. I'm here if you need assistance, and moving on.
Yeah, I think the major, distinguishing factor between a great customer success agent and a not so good one is to not take things to heart and be to reopen yourself. Like if someone shuts a door on your face, automatically, naturally, you're like, I never want to speak to this person again. So for you to be able to say, listen, I understand this is a challenge and you do not want to speak to me, and still allow them to connect with you and say, but if you do want to reach out to me and there's a better time that we can connect, give me a call back. That's huge, because anyone taking any type of criticism or harsh words, which we've gotten peppered with a few of them, it's very challenging for someone to be like, try and call them again or try to reach a resolution that you know would be of value, even if they don't see it in that particular moment. So that's huge.
More about you, because you mentioned this before we started rolling. You were mentioning the line of work that your dad is in, and that he could possibly watch this podcast.
Oh, he will most definitely watch this podcast. He's very excited about it. He is a talent agent.
Oh, that's interesting.
He loves it. My uncle actually owns the agency, Dacosta Talent. Yeah.
Oh, nice plug.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that where you get your comfort? Like, cause so
natural.
right, we have
Am
you in
I?
Yeah.
we put you in the staff front in the sales training because we think it's good for you to be acclimated with the whole team and do the acting and do some of the stuff that we do, and you show zero fear
At
of
all.
doing any of those videos and all
guys,
things.
There's fear every time.
Oh, well, you handle it. You hide it really well.
It's because I sat in front of my dad and I did it, and he was like, I wouldn't hire you. It's not happening.
You know, you've been brought up and read a cold script, and you do it in front of the entire team. And that's new because we haven't really always included the client care team.
Yeah.
But you seem to handle it really well. And then when you mentioned that when we were just before we started shooting, I'm like, oh, it must be a family trait. No?
Oh, my sisters and I, we are not actors, dancers, or singers, but you know.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah. I try my best.
She's like, I'm a good sport about it.
I
Team
think
player.
that makes your position or that department unique, that you're involved in the sales training, not to sell the client and client care. Your email is "we care," right? You're there to listen and to help the clients through the plan. And things happen in the plan, in lives that change the plan, and now you're maybe in the third or 6th month dealing with it, talking to an agent, trying to get them to help them again. So you have to. It's weird because you have to have so much client care, customer service background, but you also kind of have to know mortgages.
Right.
Yeah.
Or what you can and can't say, or where you need to direct it. And you so far have seemed to take it with great, you don't have a challenge. You just sort of rolled with the punches.
Yeah. I mean, and Jazz has been so great. She supports me always. And I always, I ask her questions constantly. And she points me in the right direction, just because everybody is so different. I want to make sure that they're, headed in the right direction with what I say, at least. And Jazz has been really great about being there for me and offering that support, which has been awesome. But I am learning, and I am, I feel like I'm asking Jazz.
Right? I am learning.
I am learning. And I feel like, I'm now able to go to Jazz with what I would do. And then she,
Excellent.
She corrects me if I'm wrong, or
that's huge too. Like, I think especially when it comes to training people, we want the client care agent or mortgage agent to be like, hey, listen, this is what I'm thinking I should do, and get that little piece of reassurance, as opposed to just continuously seeking out aid where it's like, can you just tell me what to do? Because it'd be a lot easier, but then you're not really learning and you're not really creating that impact, because then it's me telling you what to do and then you translating the message. Whereas it's like, okay, this is what I would do. I just need that like green check. And then I will be able to speak to the client and say, listen, this is what I know you need to do. As opposed to, I think, or so-and-so told me that this might be the best route. And then it just becomes that much more impactful.
No, totally. And I also feel the way, like, if I were just to say to Jazz, hey, please tell me what to do, and not think it through, nothing will stick in my brain.
Exactly.
And I'm not really, learning anything.
Yeah.
So me being able to come up with the, a possible solution, and going to Jazz and being like, hey, want to run this by you? What do you think? And if she like totally X's it, I'm like, okay, cool, I'll get you on the next one. But, so can you please tell me what to do then? But yeah, I just want to make sure, that the information that I'm giving the clients is correct. And yes.
I think that's the biggest win we've had as a company, as a team, bringing you on is that attitude right there. Your attitude is so amazing, and you're so adaptable to what's going on there, even though there is no playbook. That the feedback I get from everybody is how awesome your attitude is. And I know you've been part of those meetings where I say, have you been hired for mortgage experience? No, you've been hired for attitude.
Yeah.
And your attitude is like A+. So we love having you on the team.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Of course.
You said it was
for
painless. You
joining
made
us.
it.
Yeah, I did it. I
Right?
did it.
Good
It's
for
like
you.
I feel like I need to like the Disney Channel. Be like next time on Disney.
So thanks a lot for
Thanks so
being on
much,
today.
Hailey.
Thanks, guys.